Wow, I sure am excited to watch the new Disney movie going back to the greatest days of... Oh, wish. What can I say that hasn't already been said? There have been countless essays about it and how, to put it bluntly, bad it is, so I won't rehash. If you're watching this, you've probably either already seen them or the movie. One of the many things that disappointed me with this movie was the lack of exploration. There was so much potential for so many cool things, and they just didn't do anything with their ideas. So I'm going to have some fun and play with them. Alright, enough with the intro. Let's get into the fun stuff. I'm Concrete and you're watching Concrete Evidence talk about something. I don't know, I've never talked with my voice on here before. Quick disclaimer, this rewrite is pure self-indulgence and does not follow the main story or its message very well. It was just kind of a world-building exercise for me, to be honest, but if you're into someone rambling about a fantasy world for however long, strap yourself in, it's go time. For starters, let's go back to the concept art for the movie. It was seriously so much better than the final product we got, so I'm stealing it. Now we already have something much more interesting than the final movie. A Starboy and an evil duo, but I think we can do much more. The first thing I worked on was the design of this Starboy because I had so many ideas for them and was already attached. In a few of the concept ideas, this Starboy was a shapeshifter and in others they were mute. I am stealing both of those. Star is optimistic, energetic, and crazy magical. They express some stuff through their light, shapeshifting, magic, and sign language. When he feels something, he feels it. His body and hair color and the amount of light change drastically with how they feel. Normally they have a sort of white, yellow, orange, purple scheme going on, but when feeling happy, angry, or another strong outward emotion, he gets very bright. The exact color depends on the emotion. For example, excitement is a whitish yellow and anger is more reddish. When he's focused, sad, or a more inner or quiet emotion, his light dims and he becomes more orange-purple. Whenever he feels lovey or embarrassed, he turns a reddish pink. I don't think his kingdom has names in the same way humans do, so Asha probably just calls him Star. This is how Star mainly dresses in my mind. They don't really have a human connection, obviously, so I didn't exactly have an inspiration for this outfit other than my friend and I thinking it would look good and fit them. Asha's design is more or less the same, but I do want to give her at least one outfit change throughout the story. My girl was robbed. Someone on Tumblr mentioned that Asha's outfit was meant to be inspired by Moroccan and Amazigh fashion, sorry for bad pronunciation. I'll put up their name if I can find them again because I also used their Asha design as slight inspiration for mine. I wanted her end-of-movie transformation to be elaborate and much more reflective of the Star themes. While we're on the topic of Asha, I want to tackle the elephant in the room. Her adorable personality. You know the one. It does not work well at all for her in the movie, let alone my version, so it's gotta go. I wanted to make her slightly more serious, trying not to crack under all the weight both she and her parents have put on her. We'll get more into that later. She helps out a lot in her community, but less so for the sake of it, and more to try and put her mind at ease that she's not useless, and to prove to her parents that she can at least do something. On the other hand, Star's strong feelings tie into their main flaw. Their willingness to not face problems if they're too difficult or negative. His knee-jerk reaction to conflict or bad situations is to simply run away. If they don't face it, they don't have to feel the negativity attached. Star loves being happy, if that wasn't obvious, and he loves to see other people happy too. Throughout the movie, we can see Star spreading magic and fun throughout the kingdom and to Asha, not only helping her in her wish, but allowing her to become a happier and more fulfilled person, rather than being dutiful and feeling indebted to her parents, like before. He's super curious about Earth and Rosas stuff, which definitely amuses her as well. She teaches him to be brave enough to face real life, and he teaches her that real life doesn't have to be dull and sad. Moving on from them, I really like Magnifico and Amaya's outfits, so they'll be pretty much the same as well. Their outfits won't change much either, they're all fine to me. And the goat is keeping his pajamas, but not talking. Oh, and I'm changing Magnifico's name. His full name is now Sante Magnifico, meaning Amaya's is now Amaya Magnifico, and so on. Asha Magnifico is the Princess of Rosas, adopted by Sante and Amaya Magnifico years ago. Starboy is the Prince of the Star Kingdom. This kingdom is a sort of mythological legend in the Kingdom of Rosas. This might be controversial, but I kinda want to cut down Asha's friend group too. Like, I get that it's supposed to be a Seven Dwarfs reference, but I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. I like the idea, but there are too many of them to truly give any of them time to shine. My strategy is keeping Asha, Dahlia, Bazima, and Dario in their own group, same as the movie, but making Gabo, Hal, Simon, and Safi little kids that we see throughout. I hope that'll make more sense later. The overall message is a little different too now, and is you shouldn't take shortcuts or expect others to give you what you want. Sometimes the greater prize isn't the end goal, but the journey to get there. Rather than the movies, kinda wishy-washy, one of both, everyone should have their wishes granted and work for your wishes, which is kinda like mine, but was not very clearly stated. Also, we're cutting I'm a Star in this wish reprise. We open with a storybook, much like the original film, narrated by Asha.
Eons ago, the Star Kingdom was a prosperous and compassionate one. So prosperous, in fact, the rulers made a vow to help any human down below in dire need. Years later, a young couple, Amaya and Sante Magnifico, made a desperate wish in the hope for a better life, full of love and magic. Amaya Magnifico asked to be adored, loved by a kingdom of adoring subjects. Sante Magnifico asked for a magical prowess beyond comprehension, giving him a connection to the Star Kingdom it came from. It was almost as if he was one of them. Their power quickly grew, and people came from far and wide in the hope of a happy life on their island, and the chance to have their deepest desires granted. They, alongside their young daughter, you, rule in peace and prosperity to this day. So why can't anyone just make a wish on the Star Kingdom instead of hoping on the king and queen? It's just a story, Hal. It's not real. Well, it's said that ever since the kingdom of Rosas began to flourish, the Star Kingdom has strangely dwindled and fallen into ruin. Their beloved king and queen abruptly passed, and their dear prince hasn't been seen in years. Nobody knows what happened to them. Yeah, great story for a bunch of children. Alright, kiddo, it's time to go home. Your parents are here to pick you up. Hal cheers, and Gabo says something along the lines of, finally. The children run outside. Dahlia narrowly avoids being trampled. Simon is still asleep on the carpeted floor. Dahlia walks over, nudging him. He shoots awake, looks around at the empty classroom, and runs out the door without a word. Asha chuckles and thanks Dahlia for saving her. They stand in awkward silence, and Dahlia asks her how she's been. Asha denies that anything is or has ever been wrong. Dahlia doesn't believe her, but drops it.
Okay, I don't know if this whole storytelling thing is gonna work. I don't feel like writing a whole movie script, so we'll more bullet pointed from here. The Kingdom of Rosas. It's the introduction, but it's changed a lot to fit the story. Maybe it's Asha or a Maya or a Magnifico or her friends or somebody that sing the song, maybe all of them. This is where we learn about Asha's life and the kingdom as a whole. We get some sort of scene or flashback of Amaya telling Asha about the magic and the magical tapestry that can only be weaved with the truth. She tells Asha that Magnifico had burnt off part of it in a magical accident. Asha loves to go out into the forest to read, draw, and practice her magic. Here we see her being bad at magic, establishing her main conflict. This is the thanks I get is now Sante and Amaya singing to Asha, their adopted daughter, basically Mother Gothel style guilt-tripping her into being on their side. Saying things like, oh, we clothed you and loved you and housed you all these years, and you lived as a princess and we shared our magic with you, and this is how you repay us, by repeatedly disappointing us with your magical performance, making Asha feel even more pressured to be good at magic and to do many other things around the kingdom to make up for it, and prove how grateful she is for everything they did for her. Being bad at magic, but feeling immense pressure to become good at it before her quickly approaching 18th birthday, Asha sings a song of desperation and longing, symbolically making a wish. That song is obviously this wish. A strange ball of light suddenly appears, flying around her, then transforming into a humanoid figure much like herself. She asks who he is, and he signs Star, so that's what she calls him. Star can change into any form, but liked Asha's human form, so hangs out as that most of the time. The two bond over time, half secretly, meeting up and hanging out. Asha loves to talk to them, and they love to hear all about Asha's home and situation. He tells her things about his kingdom too, through a mix of magical pictures and sign language. Her parents question why she's gathering so many new books all of a sudden, and why she's gained an interest in sign language. Star, as was wished of him, helps with her magic, and the two bond a ton. When he meets Asha, Star immediately falls in love with her at first sight. He likes to secretly sign I love you to her when she's not looking. Asha shows Star, in disguise obviously, around the kingdom. He spreads joy and love and happiness wherever the two go, endearing Asha with his vibrance for life and his fascination with the mundane. At all costs is a scene where Star pulls Asha out into the water surrounding the island, and they walk on it together through his magic. They watch maybe a fireworks show or something that the king is doing from back in the kingdom. Asha sings this song to him. I'd love to make it a duet, but he's mute, so that obviously wouldn't work. But yeah, a very I see the light type of scene. Asha's parents are getting more angry with her for disappearing for so long and not attending events, but she begins to care less and less, being finally happy with Star. Until Star figures out the Magnifico's secret and obviously gets extremely upset, feeling betrayed that he taught her all this magic that was killing him and his people, and his parents years ago too. His emotions get the best of him, but after what Asha taught him, he decides to go and face her parents, to try and be diplomatic instead of running away, which ultimately works against him. Asha is angry at Star. Her parents wouldn't do that. She goes back to the castle, not wanting to be near that forest again. It reminds her too much of them. While there, perhaps pacing the halls of the castle, she finds herself in Magnifico's study. She sits for a while, watching his magic swirl across the ceiling, when the tapestry she had seen a million times in her life catches her eye. She had always wondered about the burnt-off half. She decides to go looking for it. She finds Sante's secret basement and the rest of the tapestry inside. On it, she finds the true nature of her parents.
Eons ago, the Star Kingdom was a prosperous and compassionate one. So prosperous, in fact, its rulers made a vow to help any human down below in dire need once in their life. The Magnificos, however, abused this kind promise in their quest for power. The two, after falling in love, devised a plan. One would, in disguise, destroy their village and kill their families, while the other would act as a hero, helping the survivors and creating a situation to ask for their heart's desire. Amaya Magnifico wished to be loved unconditionally by a kingdom of adoring subjects. Sante Magnifico asked for a magical prowess beyond comprehension, giving him a connection to the Star Kingdom it came from. Little did the Star Kingdom know he would take advantage of their generous gift, using his otherworldly ties to their kingdom to drain its magical life force, powering his own sorcery. Their power quickly grew. People came from far and wide in the hopes of a happy life on their island, and the chance to have their deepest desires granted by the king. Ever since his power grew and the Two's kingdom began to flourish, the Star Kingdom has dwindled and fallen into ruin. Their beloved king and queen abruptly passed, drained of their life force, and their dear prince hasn't been seen in years.
Asha, knowing what she knows now, knows Star was right about everything. She feels incredibly guilty, but knows she has to go save him to make everything right. At this same time, Star is immediately captured by the Magnificos. Sante begins to drain his life force. He can't believe that there's been a real star in his kingdom this whole time, and this one was especially powerful and bright. He just couldn't pass up this opportunity. While he and Amaya are monologuing this, Star, with their last strength, signs for them to shut up because they don't want to hear it. This scene and Asha's switch between each other. Knowing what I know now is Asha going to save Star, learning her magic herself in the short time she has using the books in her castle and the help of her friends. She rallies the townspeople and tells them to stop waiting for her father to grant their desires. He never has and never intends to. They must do it themselves and must help her as he's actively killing someone. So a lot of them come with her and use their amateur magic that they had never bothered to learn. Once they arrive, Asha breaks at the sight of Star captured. His light is dim and he's gone from his happy, curious self to hurt, scared, and dying, and it destroys her. She runs to his side. Instead of this wish being reprised, it's "This is the thanks I get." It's sung by Santa and Amaya to Asha while she's trying to save Star. Her parents guilt her for all that she had done the whole movie. But she knows now, thanks to Star, that they're wrong. They never truly cared for her, especially not like Star did. She knows what they did, and what they intend to continue doing. She secretly uses her new magic to heal Star slowly as they sing their song. When Star is sort of rejuvenated, she says something along the lines of her wish wasn't granted because it wasn't her magic being taught to her, which makes Star laugh a little and makes him a bit brighter. Asha, her friends, Star, and the rallied citizens fight against Asha's parents. They eventually win and, I don't know, throw them in prison or something. I'm tired. After all is said and done and her parents are defeated, Star still loves Asha and he's just happy that she's okay and vice versa, and he knows it wasn't her fault. He thinks he should leave to give her peace of mind after all she went through, but she wants him to stay because she's realized how much she loves him. There could be some sort of interaction where she asks him why he granted so much more than she had asked for. Star would bashfully yet playfully look away before signing, "I love you." Asha smiles knowingly, obviously reciprocating. She grabs his hand, pulling them close before kissing them on the cheek. Sparks fly from Star's head and they fly around, unable to contain themselves. He lands back and laughs silently. In the end, Star and Asha rule their now joined kingdoms. The Star Kingdom is flourishing now that it's free of Magnifico's control, and Asha's is full of its own unique magic rather than the Star's. That's about it. The end. I think if you wanted to keep more of the movie's original essence and message, you could make it so that each citizen of Rosas has a connection to the Star Kingdom and they give it to Magnifico. I'm not sure, it's kinda weak. When I first saw the trailer, I thought Magnifico was going to be using the wishes to power his magic in a more literal sense. Like, if he wanted to intimidate someone and someone wished to have a pet bear or something, he'd break that wish and get a magic bear. And he'd only grant the wishes that weren't of use to him, like dressmaking or something, to keep the people loving him, like in the movie. I also had an idea of Star being a sort of Princess and the Frog sort of situation where they become humanoid later on, but I like humanoid Star too much, so I didn't bother. I also had an idea of Maya being more of a twist villain to Magnifico's more obvious villain and pretending to be on Asha's side, but it didn't end up fitting their dynamic. Wow, I've never made a video like this before. That was actually super fun. So, yeah. That wasn't even close to completely thought out, but I hope it at least entertained you for however long this ends up being. Feel free to share your thoughts about the movie or my ideas in the comments, and have a great day or night, and goodbye.